On today's video, I'm going to be replacing the carburetor on a 525 DEPS Mad Saw. This is a pretty easy and straightforward repair, except there is one thing that is always a royal pain in the butt when I do a lot of this stuff through Husqvarna. If you take a look at the carburetor bolt, there's actually a nut back here that it screws into. Except the problem is this nut is not secured in this plastic and just loosely rolls around. So when you're trying to do service repair work on there with the bolts out, that nut can fall out of place just like it did today. And of course, I cannot find the nut anywhere. I swept the floor, I've wiped the counter down, I've shaken the machine. It is nowhere to be found at all. This truly is a very, very poor design. When I work on other companies' equipment, the nut that the screw bolts into is nice and tight and does not have any wiggle room. These are just lightly thrown in there and they can fall out super easy. Just be careful if you're doing a repair on a saw like this or any of the other Husqvarna products that have a nut system like this, because the nut will fall out and you probably won't be able to find it. And then you're gonna have to wait several days to get a new one in so you can finish the repair project. And that is exactly what I'm going through right now. I've double checked, I've triple checked, I've looked everywhere, and that little stupid tiny nut is nowhere to be found. So now that we got that out of the way, let's jump into the video and I'll show you guys how to replace this carburetor. Begin by removing the air filter housing. Next, remove the air filter. There's two long screws that hold the carburetor into place. Go ahead and remove those. Disconnect the throttle cable, then disconnect the fuel lines. I use my fuel line remover tool to pry off the fuel lines if they're stuck on there. This has a cup on the end that fits around the fuel line so you can pry it off. I'll put my Amazon affiliate link in the description so that way you guys can buy one of these if you're interested. Now I'm going to reconnect the fuel lines to the new carburetor. Now line up the carburetor so you can get ready to install. That little arm is going to fit right in that choke, so it only fits in there one way. You can't mess it up. Do not forget your gaskets. You're going to have one between the plastic air filter housing and the carburetor and another one between the carburetor and the motor. The best way to install everything is to get your screws into place and then just stack everything on top of your screws. Now put your choke cable back into place. This only fits one way. There's a slot in the side of it. You just fit it in that slot, and then there's a hole on one side, and then the plastic loop fits right in that hole. Once you got everything hooked up, go ahead and tighten the screws, and then after you do that, make sure you check the choke lever to make sure it's working properly. Install the air filter and the air filter housing and you're all set. Just be aware if you guys are working on Husqvarna products that nut can fall out, especially when you're flipping the machine over and trying to work on different things. And of course, the nuts are different sizes for different units, different thicknesses. So you can't really carry all the parts in stock just to make sure that you have some in case something like this happens. So spend some extra time making sure that it doesn't fall out, making sure that if it does fall out that you take care of it right away and you don't lose it on your bench. Here's a look at the nut right here that I lost. This is the one on the other side. But I contacted Husqvarna and apparently they don't sell the nut for this. You would think if it's something that's going to fall out of their equipment and be easily lost that they would sell that nut. But no, you got to buy the whole baffle assembly for 20 bucks plus shipping for one little nut that probably costs less than 50 cents. So what I ended up doing is I took a regular nut and I ground it down till it got to square ground, fit in the hole, and then that's what I'm going to use right now. It's right in there, and it works. It's threaded the same. This is actually a steel part that they use for the carburetors. So it's going to be the same nut size that fits the Husqvarna. Just had to ground it down square so that way it fit. So now let's put it back together and it should work just fine. If you guys found this video helpful, make sure you guys like down below and subscribe to my channel. I got lots of the great content on there of repairs that come through the shop on a daily basis. Tools, tips, and tricks that I use to get the customer's equipment repaired and right back out the door so they can use it again. And make sure you guys look at the description. I've got some links to my Amazon affiliate account of different products that I think will be helpful when you guys are doing these repairs. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your day.